Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of lane lines, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team New Alliance. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, or the red Zerg player himself from Brazil, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. We go, and Kamikaze already opening up with a low ground setup. Okay. okay. Let him cook, Papi. Let him cook. Now, with a low ground setup, I would just immediately assume it's going to be 2x Reaper, but I do know that there are certain racks into factory setups in the low ground that are relatively popular. Juanito Special, he did popularize them many years ago at this point, and some players, they do like to sprinkle them in, but here comes the second SV, and this should be 2x Reaper. There we go. Second Rax is on the way. So 2x Reaper is upon us. I say 2x Reaper. Technically, Kamikaze can throw down a third Rax in the main. As he's building up. Likewise, across the map, we do have Erik going for his own hatch gas pool. Standard opener. Nothing crazy, nothing too wild. Erik is known for his quote-unquote Erik opener. True, which he does actually mix in against Terran, but not here, not this time, not this game. Personally, I'm not too fond of it against Terran, but Erik, he does like to indulge in it from time to time. Meanwhile, we do have Mass Reaper on the way. Now, for those that are curious, the purpose of 2x Reaper is to delay the third. That's the purpose here, is to delay the third base. It's not to really get, you know, critical economic damage or to snipe queens or anything like that. If that was the case, we'd get a third Rax. With only 2 Rax, this is a macro build, and Kamikaze will be expanding. He will expand from here. Again, the goal is to apply pressure to contain the Zerg player, to disrupt their own economy, and to get into a greater economic setup. And this typically leads into a 2-1-1. I say typically, this can lead into a 4-Rax, true, especially on smaller maps. 4 Raxes, we can go for like a third or fourth Rax, rush into stim and go for a very early heavy bio timing. Beyond, he's explored a lot of different avenues and variations of this in the past. There's that CC for Kamikaze. Kamikaze does poke in. Let's poke in. Oh, getting a link. One Zergling goes down. Nothing major yet. Queens are amassing. Additional Reapers have arrived. And so far, Kamikaze, he is containing Erik. So far, so good. We see Kamikaze, yep, he checks for a third base. If there was one, he could just focus it down. At this point, I would want to see Kamikaze cancel these Reapers. So to achieve what Kamikaze has so far in this game, you only need 3. You only need 3 Reapers, but now he's getting a 4th and a 5th Reaper as well. This is a little bit excessive. Typically, you wouldn't make this many Reapers unless your opponent was expanding to force the cancel. So Kamikaze, he's committing a little bit harder to this, which means his add-ons are going to be more delayed. So he delays his add-ons in favor of extra Reapers. And again, even with these extra Reapers, he shouldn't achieve much more, especially with link speed already done. And Erik coming for the surround. Oh my god. Nice juke. Nice juke. Kamikaze does try to slip away, gets surrounded. Reapers are going down one after the other. Ay, ay, ay. And Kamikaze, he will lose everything here. And again, remember, he delayed his add-ons in favor of extra Reapers. And honestly, it wasn't quite worth it. He does survive with 2 though. Does survive, does get away. And Erik is going 2 base lair. 2 base lair, gas is being taken. Are we going into mutas? We're taking for this 2 base muta. Okay, 2 base muta here out of Erik. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. I say 2 base muta, and if we were casting a standard Zerg player, it should be 2 base muta, but Erik isn't standard, and something that he does enjoy doing against Terran from time to time is 2 base swarm host. Now, is he gonna embrace that? I mean, I hope so, but we'll see. Links they get across the map. The add-ons are exposed. Deny stim. Oh my god. Yeah, stim is denied. Add-on goes down. Massive pickoff. Ay ay ay. Again, all this was delayed because of the extra Reapers. Reapers are racing back home, going for another add-on, and he's doing it. 2 base swarm it. Let's go. Ay ay ay. But we know our boy, Papi. We know our Erik. We know him. 2 base swarm host. Oh my god. See, this is why we bring it up. He's an animal. Now he scans though. We just see scan. Now, if Kamikaze is familiar with Erik, upon seeing the infestation bit, he should know it's 2 base swarm host. He should know it's 2 base swarm host. But I don't know how much of Erik Kamikaze is aware of. Again, they're in the same region. He should know. He should be aware behind this, getting into bio, getting into stim, getting into his bio setup. Burrow's on the way. If you're curious, what is the purpose of Burrow? Now, this should be for, I want to say, 4 swarm hosts. 3 to 4 swarm hosts. And the purpose here is to burrow in different locations and apply pressure and get some key pickoffs here and there to get damage over time and to force out scans. And technically, like, getting Burrow, getting 4 swarm hosts, getting some damage, and forcing out 4 scans is worth it, is efficient. But Erik, he's actually investing quite heavily into these roaches. He's committing a little bit harder here. He's getting a 3rd base, that is true, but Erik, he does cut workers at 2 base saturation. He has invested into these roaches. Roaches, they move out to distract. Once again, Stim is under fire. Tank is on the way. But with these roaches, Erik, he might be able to deny Stim for a 2nd time. Roaches are waddling in. Tank does siege up. Does siege in position. Oh my god. Roaches, they pull away. Now, with these piles, with these Ravagers, I mean, this is not long for this world. Like, this Stim is so exposed. It's so vulnerable. It should be going down. Swarm hosts, they're waddling in. Now, alongside this, do we have Overlord Speed? Okay, no Overlord Speed yet. Queens, they do not move out across the map yet either. Here we go. Swarm hosts have arrived. Going for the Locust Wave. Again, it's only 4 swarm hosts. We don't intend to commit into any extra swarm hosts. That's not the purpose of this build. Swarm hosts, they rally in. The factory's under fire. Ay, 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 it's gonna be piled down. Oh my god. Barely survived. Barely saved. And again, Erik, he's just containing. He's just containing. His 3rd base is up and running. He's making more Roach Ravager, which means he's gonna break it. Yeah, he's gonna go for the break. He's gonna go for the bust. Piles, they connect. Ooh, the tank to survive. Swarm hosts, they do survive. They do likewise be able to survive as well. On 5 HP. Getting another depot. And Erik, he's not been joining. He's not. Oh, now he is. But for the most part, he's not been joining. Just 2 base saturation. Here comes the Locust Wave. Can he get on top of the tank? Can he force friendly fire? Remember, Stim is not done. Dives on the army. Getting on top of the fire. Piles, they take down the tank. Massive pickup. That was the only tank. GG gets called. Erik, he will overwhelm, and Erik, he takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Erik, he does break his opponent. Again, interesting setup here. Now, winding it back a little bit, 2A Swarm Host, usually Erik does this as a macro build, where he would break out, he would contain his opponent, and then drone up. But here, Erik, he's a little bit more fluid. He does not drone up. He cuts workers at 2 base saturation. He does use the Swarm Host to support his army more than anything, and he does break through that defensive line. Now, a big part of that success for Erik was just how vulnerable Kamikaze was. Winding it back, I'm pretty sure if Kamikaze went for a standard build, we wouldn't have seen Erik commit, but specifically because of the 2-Vax Reaper, all the production was at the natural, right? The Raxes were at the natural, the add-ons were at the natural, the factory was also at the natural base, all the production is at the natural. So because of that, specifically because of the opener of Kamikaze, he's more vulnerable to these 2 base all-ins, because if the natural gets broken, it isn't just the economy, it's also the production, right? Like, the production is also there as well. So Erik, upon recognizing that, he committed, he went straight for the kill, went straight for the natural. He was able to camp the production. If you notice, because the factory was forced to lift, only 1 tank, right? Only 1 tank was built. There was no 2nd tank. Without extra tanks, there's no defense. Oh, also no Stim, of course, either. GG, well played. We're getting into game number 2. Getting into game 2, and here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team New Alliance. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Zerg, the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. And once again, Kamikaze opens up on the low ground. Interesting. Now, as they led into Amygdala is a larger map. It is a much larger map in the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. Because of that, you could argue that maybe 2 base play is going to be deterred, but for the most part, this looks like once again 2-Rex Reaper out of Kamikaze. Interesting. Now, I do believe that once again he can succeed with this build. What I mean by that is containing Erik, right? I think he can succeed in containing Erik on 2 bases, and that he can deny the 3rd base, but the question is the follow-up from there. as you mentioned, like, I wasn't too fond of the idea of Kamikaze investing into 5 Reapers when he didn't need to, because that did delay the add-ons, that did delay the factory, it delayed everything else behind it. So we'll see if he does cut Reaper production earlier, or if he's able to find more success. Likewise, because it's a larger map, it means that if Erik tries to respond with a 2-base Roach all-in, again, it will take longer to get across the map, and potentially Kamikaze might be better prepared. We'll see. We'll see how this all does unfold. As for now, the 2x Reaper is upon us. And Reapers are amassing. Kamikaze is soon to move out. And we'll see if he's more successful this time. Now, the initial overload of Erik is going to confirm this, so he's going to dip into the natural. He may want to go further into the main base as well, just to make sure this is not 3-Rax Reaper. So, Erik, you will get an idea of what's going on. Behind this, Queens are on the way, Lings are amassing so far, joining up. Yep, does confirm the low ground setup, does confirm the 2-Rax Reaper. So, Erik, more or less, he's aware of what's going on. There's the expansion from Kamikaze. The first Reaper moves out, so we have a 2nd and 3rd Reaper on the way. He is starting up a 4th Reaper. He does get across the map. Does poke in. So far deflected here by the Lings. He has yet to check the 3rd location. Now he rotates, he does check, he does confirm that there is no expansion. And behind this, he is still making a 4th and 5th Reaper. Okay, so he's committing into 5 again. So he's going with 5 Reapers. He contains Erik. And this time, Kamikaze going straight into a 3rd CC before factory. Very greedy follow-up here from Kamikaze. Last game, I believe he went 3rd CC after the factory. So this does delay Hellions. This does delay the factory. Factory now on the way. Here come the add-ons. Now this time the add-ons are safe, true, right? Because of the spawn location, the add-ons are going to be safe here. They won't be threatened by the Lings. Once again, 2-base layer out of Erik. Once again, Erik, it looks like he will respond once again with 2-base Swarm Host. Now I'm making that assumption just because it's Erik. Technically, he can turn this into 2-base Muta, but I want Erik to be like Erik, you know? He's like his 2-base Swarm Host is very stylistic to Erik, so I'm hoping to see it again, but we'll see. Likewise, we'll see how Kamikaze is able to defend against that. Stim is on the way. Factory, you can see, is further behind. So remember, last game the factory was a part of the wall, right? Last game the factory was exposed here as a part of the wall. This time it's further back, so Kamikaze, he is definitely a lot more attentive to his buildings, to his production. It's also here at the natural, but it is safer this time, so he can make more tanks. So already because of this, I don't expect Erik to 2-base all in. I do expect like an infestation bit. We'll see. The layer is now done. Yeah, there it is. Infestation bits on the way, so 2-base Swarm Host. And just like I mentioned in the last game, very often we do see Erik turn this into a macro build. Last game he did go for the all-in, but this time Kamikaze is less vulnerable. This time Kamikaze doesn't lose his Reapers. This time he saves them and preserves them back at home. In general, I will say that Kamikaze has had a cleaner game compared to game 1. Like, he's saved his Reapers, he has a better position with his production, he can finish Stim a lot sooner as well. I mean, I say sooner, he can actually finish Stim, so this is all better than game 1. Which is why I'm curious to see if Erik drones or not. As Erik, he's spreading creep, he's lining the 3rd base. We have the initial, remember, it's 4 Swarm Hosts, not more than that, just 4 Swarm Hosts alongside Burrow. He is building up some Roaches, and with his Roaches he can try to apply some pressure to the expansion, to the natural. Once again, he cuts workers here at 2-base saturation. He's fully saturated on 2 bases and 4 gases. 3rd base on the way. Moving out his Roaches, getting some Infestors. This is the first sign here. He is droning. He's going to drone up. Now, the reasoning for the Infestors here is because the Infestors keep him safe for when Kamikaze breaks free. From when he moves that across the map, then the Infestors can fungal and slow down the push. So Erik, he's getting ready for a longer game. He's going for the gold. Okay, knocking down those rocks. The Swarm Hosts move out. The Roaches, they stay at home to deal with the rocks. Banshee's revealed. Erik is aware. The Infestors can also help with the Banshee, true. Kamikaze getting into 1-1 upgrades. Third base attempted to be taken. Swarmhost getting in position. He does spot the Banshee. Locust Wave into the main. And ideally you want to spread out these Swarmhost. Oh, as he goes to the bio. Does trade, but will lose the Overlord just barely. Overlord does go down. Meanwhile, we did have a Locust Wave here towards the right hand side. Ling is burrowed where the expansion would otherwise be. Now he does want to spread out the Swarmhost away from that Ling to force extra scans. And you can see here we have one Swarmhost in the center, we have one towards the left, one towards the top side, and one towards the bottom side. All burrowed, all spread out, and all forcing scans. Behind this, Erik is droning. Yep, Erik is droning up. He does get up to 2, does get up to 5, so 5 infestors. And again, the purpose of these infestors are to slow down the buyer push, to buy time. As here comes a Locust Wave. Locust Wave does force friendly fire, almost gets the tank. Oh, can he get it? Oh my god, barely not. Meanwhile, another Locust Wave into the main. Okay, too much damage. Now going for the SCVs. You can see 2 Locusts, they get 1, they get 2 SCVs. 3. Oh my god. They get 3 workers. There's a first scan on the Ling. Meanwhile, we do have another Locust Wave getting ready. Like, you can see it doesn't take too much to get some value here out of these Locust Waves. And this is worth it. And again, it's only 4. Only 4. Kamikaze is looking for the Swarmhost. Erik, he's droning up on 2 bases, getting into +1 melee, so this should be for Ling Bane. Oh! He may have found one. Here comes a Locust Wave. You can see here that Erik, he purposely doesn't spend this Locust Wave to hide the Swarmhost. Things they move in. So Kamikaze might actually not know where the Swarmhost... Like, he's spread here, he's looking for it, but he doesn't know where it is. Raven's on the way. Erik, I mean, he spots this with the Swarmhost. Oh, the Biles! Oh my god. Okay, Biles don't quite connect, but does trade with the Marine Army. Takes down the Bio, takes down the Marines. Nice pick up here by Erik. Once again... Oh no! Once again, takes down the Banshee. And Erik, he's on 3-base saturation. He's on 3 bases. Now he's building up his army. He does have those 5 infestors. Locust Wave now is moving in. And he still has not lost any of these Swarmhosts, but with the Raven, he can finally hunt them down. Finally hunt them down. Yep, Swarmhosts, they waddle away. They get the hell out of here. We'll lose 1, we'll finally lose 2, but honestly, these Swarmhosts, they pay for themselves. At this point, they paid for themselves. This is also why it's important to get the infestors as well. It's another way to make use of the infestation pits. And the tanks are exposed. Erik is moving in. The tanks are on their own. Boys are being pulled. Do we get any fungals? Oh, we do land 1. The infestors are being targeted down, and he doesn't quite, or does get them. Oh yeah, massive fungal. Ay, ay, ay. Fungal pops off, Bio Army goes down, and the base is broken. GG gets called. Erik, he will break through that defensive line, and Erik will take game number 2 and the series. Whew. GG. Hi, GG, well played. I think this is a better example of what 2-base Swarmhost looks like. Like, game 1 was, if Erik sees weakness, if Erik has a really strong start, he can just turn it into a 2-base all-in with Roach Ravager. Here in game 2, this is what it looks like in a more longer game. How awkward and how frustrating it can be to try to hunt down each individual Swarmhost, how it buys time, how Erik was safe against a bio push in case Kamikaze got frustrated. So if he got frustrated, if he just sent everything across map, then there are 5 infestors to shut down the Bio Army. And again, because the Bio Army was looking for the Swarmhost, the tanks were exposed, and he saw everything with his army, with his Swarmhost even. He had all the vision. With that, GG. GG, well played. With that, Erik, he will advance on to the grand finals, where he's going to be faced off against Master in that best of 5. Let's go. Let us go. So we're setting up for those finals. Just catching up in the chat. 2-base mute is too ordinary for Erik. It's true. It's too mainstream. It's too mainstream. It's aye. Now I did ask Erik about that build. If for those that are curious, he also feels like the build is a little bit stronger. Fun fact: Erik used to do this 2-base Stormhost build, a year ago, like maybe even over a year ago, before the patch to the Infestor. We actually had to research pathogen glands to get energy. Since then, now you no longer need that, so the Infestor does spawn in with enough energy for a fungal, so he does feel like it is safer to do this build, because once the Infestor spawns in, bam, you have a fungal, so you're a little bit safer against like a 2-on-1 or like earlier bioaggression. So just a little safer in that. But he also told me that it's very like micro intensive, because you need to be very intentional with how you use the swarm host. You need to borrow your lings, you need to spread creep. Like there's a lot going on. There's like a lot of APM required, and he said that like if he feels like a little bit groggy, if he's not at 100%, he doesn't go for it. Like it's hard to pull off. But regardless, GG. GG, well played. That leads us into our next series, into the grand finals. It's going to be best of 5 between Erik and Master. Shouldn't be a surprise. Master is a very, very strong Protoss player in the Latin American region. I would say he's the best Protoss in Latino America. You can make an argument for Mutes. It's hard to say just because they never play against each other, but Mute and Master, they're top two Protosses in Latin America. And Master is one of the players here in the Brazilian region that can threaten Erik. Like when I think of the best players in Brazil, I think Erik for the Zerg, I think Master for the Protoss, and I think Inexorable for the Terran. And these are the 3 players that usually contest against each other and take maps and take series and kind of vie for that #1 spot. Unfortunately, Diego Kellezer, he's very inactive. He's very inactive nowadays, so he's not as much of a factor. And Shakti, he also did retire. He plays every now and then. But for the most part, it's like Erik, Master, and Inexorable as a trifecta. And we will need a moment to set things up and to get ready for the finals. We're going to be going on a short break. We're going on a short break. Take this time, get some snacks, get some food, get some water, and we'll be back soon for the finals. See you guys in a couple of minutes. See you soon.